It's that time again when we get some insights on the Bears from our Bear Blitz analyst, Hub Arkuksh. She joins us now from Chicagoland. And Hub, you are always the voice of reason. So should Bears fans start to panic over the current state of this team, or can these guys rally together and end this downward spiral they seem to be on?
No, it's too early to panic, Scott. I don't know that they will win 9 of their next 10, which is what they did last year after getting out to a 3-3 start. But there actually are really some stunning similarities between this 3-3 and last year's 3-3. Now, the difference, and I think the reason people are more worried this year, is because while the offense wasn't good last year, it was playing better than it has so far this year. But as far as the collapse of the defense the last 2 weeks, and I think it's fair to call it that, it's the exact same thing that happened last year. And it really, to me, with all the focus on the offense and on Mitch Trubisky, if this team is going to get it turned around first, it's really more about the defense than it is about the offense.
Going back to last Sunday, Sean Payton has clearly coached a great game for the Saints, getting a lot out of his guys despite missing some key players. So how bad did Matt Nagy look in contrast to that job? And a reporter asked Nagy after the game, would you consider having somebody else call plays for you? And he said, well, I'm not going to go there. But do you think he would ever consider turning over the play calling to somebody else?
Well, he did say on Monday that he would consider it. And a lot of his answers on this, when he talks about where Mitch Trubisky is at, where the overall management of the offense is at, a lot of his answers are, we're not there yet. And I think that's reasonable. I know that it is very concerning that Mitch Trubisky does appear to have taken a step backward, but it's hard to say whether it's because Trubisky is going to be a bust or if it's because you've put him in an absolutely impossible position of asking him to play quarterback and be successful throwing the football when you don't have a running game. To have 54 pass attempts and 7 runs is absurd. And Nagy acknowledged that, and he knows it, but he talked about the game getting away. Well, unfortunately, I had to be the bad guy who pointed out to him that in the first half, they had 23 passes and 5 running plays when it was a 2-point game. And so if he is doing the self-scouting and evaluation that he says he is, and I'm sure he is, he's going to see that. He's going to know that. They've got to figure out a way. You don't have to be good running the football in the NFL, but you do have to do it. You have to force the defense to defend both the pass and the run. And right now, again, I don't know if Mitch Trubisky is going to be the answer or not, but I know he's been put in an absolutely impossible situation right now because defenses come in here. They're not worried about the run. They are trying to force Mitch Trubisky to beat them. And when you're asking Trubisky to throw into 6, 7, and 8-man coverages all day long, it's not going to go well.
What do you think Nagy's confidence level is in David Montgomery? He only got the 2 carries last week.
Scott, I don't think it has a lot to do with the rookie. I think it's more about Matt's own issues with occasionally kind of losing sight of where he's at in the game. This actually goes all the way back to his time as an offensive coordinator in Kansas City. When he gets behind, he does tend to abandon the run. And as far as Montgomery, the thing that you worry about the most with young running backs is what happens in pass protection. Can they pick up their assignments? Are they going to make a mistake and get the quarterback hurt? Montgomery hasn't been awful at it, but he did have a couple bad misses that were right there in the middle of your TV screen on Sunday or in Soldier Field if you were at the game. And that may be part of the concern. But I don't think the concern is that Montgomery isn't the player they thought he was. It's that the offense is slow in developing, and he's been a little slower in probably picking up some of his assignments than he needs to be.
Well, like the Bears, the Chargers came into the season with high expectations. They won 12 games a year ago, but here they are. They're struggling with only 2 wins. What are the Chargers' biggest issues right now?
Well, one of the things you got to look at is they may be 2-5, but all 5 losses are by a touchdown or less. So they could just as easily be 5-2, 4-3, even 6-1. Their problems have been on the offensive line. Russell Okung is their best player, a Pro Bowl left tackle. He's been out all year, suffered a pulmonary embolism during the offseason. He may be back this Sunday. They brought in a Pro Bowl center in Mike Pouncey. He's done for the year. And then just last Sunday in Tennessee, Forrest Lamp, their guard, broke his ankle. So Melvin Gordon, of course, somewhat famously, was a holdout for a while. So they've been without a lot of their star power. And as much as Phillip Rivers may end up in the Hall of Fame someday, the one thing he's always done is he will put the ball up for grabs. So when Rivers takes care of the football, and they get some work done on the ground and they protect him, they're very tough to beat. And it's not going to be an easy one for the Bears on Sunday. But the way they've been playing the first 6-7 weeks, if they have another week like that, this is a game where the Bears can bounce back.
All right, so much to discuss with these Bears these days. Hub, thank you so much for joining us. We'll chat again next week.
All right, Scott.
A reminder, catch Hub right here every week. Folks, you can also hear him on the Bears pregame and postgame shows on Sports Radio 670 The Score in Chicago. And Hub is the executive editor of Pro Football Weekly and ProFootballWeekly.com. Go there and you can find not only lots of Bears information, but information from all around the NFL. Up next, our staff predictions for this week's action in the NFC North. As we head to the break, here is our Bear Blitz trivia question. Cordero Patterson had that kickoff return for a touchdown last week against the Saints. Who was the last Chicago Bear before him to return a kickoff for a touchdown? I'll have the answer after the break.